showtime. Woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. Styling and profiling. Woo, woo, it's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report on the Buffalo Fan Base Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP from the 313. And by my side is my main man, my Toucan Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. What's going on, buddy?
Happy Monday, bud. How you doing?
Yeah, man. Happy Monday. I got my voice back from that long weekend, draft weekend of like 9 hours of
Coverage.
My God.
I don't know. Did you watch on Saturday? So I clicked on some of our other Bills content creators. They were going on day 3 and they were still rocking it, dude. I'm like, you guys are crazy because that was not my style. After 9 hours, I was done,
dude. And I even went on Jason's show on Sunday night. I believe it was Sunday night at like 10. We winded up going on. My God, I was so done, man. You could hear it in my voice, but I still have a good time. Anytime I talk Buffalo Bills, man, I have a good time. So It's all good. So even though it was 9 hours, I still had a good time. So we got some people in the chat already, by the way. We got Scott Blakely in the house. We got Chewy. Chewy's in the house. What's going on, Chewy, man? Let's fucking go. It's right.
And a lot of them are the reasons why we spent 9 hours on, because they all rolled with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we appreciate everybody out there that rolled with us for those 9 hours. It was fun. When we got off, actually, Friday night, I ended up jumping on over a hashtag. I went on their inside their chat room, and then I hopped on there and gave some recap there. But it'll be a fun time. You know, tonight we'll go over the draft picks. We'll talk a little bit about the UDFAs that we got here, and kind of see what's left out there. What do we got to do? You know,
hen dogs in the house, by the way.
Yeah, what's going on, hen dog? I wanted to start with the big news today of DeAndre Hopkins getting popped for 6 games for PED.
Not the good, and not the good.
You know,
no. Well, you know. Can we get that catch back? Can they reverse that? Because it was like when a boxer gets caught PED, you take that away, right? You strip them. So can we strip that L, right? I don't know. Because if he wasn't on the juice, does he make that catch, Mikey?
Listen, I don't want to ever strip that away because that lit a fire in them. Propelled us to the championship game. So
I'm just saying.
I love what Scott says here. He comes in and says, this draft was perfect. I really love the picks even more as I study their strengths.
Yep.
I would say 1 through 6. The first, 5 or 6, I was good with.
Mm-hmm.
The last couple, I was like, okay.
Let me go through the picks real quick, just a rundown, and then we're gonna dive deeper into this tonight of each, most of the players, not like, we're not going to get into big Luke Tenuta, who should be like WWE. Sounds like a wrestler, by the way, right? Right. Luke Tenuta versus Kane. I don't know. All right. So we got number 1 with the first round pick. We traded up to the 23rd spot. We got Kaiir Elam, cornerback. The second round, we got James Cook, running back. Third round, Terrell Bernard. There's your head scratcher. We had no 4th round. 5th round, we have Khalil Shakir. And our 6th round, we got the punt god, which it's so weird. I swear to everybody's mock drafts, like they were begging for one player. I think all Bills Mafia maybe got that one right. like everybody drafted the punter in the 6th or 7th. And that came true. Like even in my draft, remember I was like, hey, can I draft him? Like, nope, it won't allow us to draft punters. I'm like,
Yep.
But, I would have got that one right. But anyways, so let's dive right into this. Let's start with the first pick. Kaiir Elam. So let's pull up his draft profile real quick.
Why don't you share it?
Yep, will do.
Okay. So Kaiir Elam, 6'1" and 1.5, 191, 30.78 inch arms, 8.78 inch hands. Overall grade prospect was 6.38, and I'll tell you that kind of falls into the day one starter category. Ran a 4.3940. He did not test in the other things, which is fine, you know. So as we go in and we look at his strengths, desired size and length for press man, I'll tell you, the press man brings a new element to our defense.
Absolutely love it, Mikey.
I was listening to, I can't remember who I was listening to. I was listening to Greg Cosell talk about it. He's like, everyone talks about how the Bills play zone. He's like, if you go back and watch them the last 2 years, they play a lot more man than you think they do. And bringing this kid in, who is a press zone corner, who can learn the zone concepts, he just brings a different aspect. He brings the size that we don't have to that secondary.
Yep. And speed.
Yeah, size and speed.
He is right now, Mikey, our fastest corner because Trey was, and he clocked in, I believe they said a 4.5.
No,
at the cut.
No,
okay.
No, he
ran. You might want to pull that.
Trey ran a 4.4.
All right, I heard 4.5, but you might want to pull that up to confirm because me and you are already on we'll have to debate that. Pull that up. Hey guys, anyone pull that up in the chat? So Mikey's busy on these strengths and weaknesses.
I can't really pull it up. I have a bunch of other stuff going on.
No, that's right. Chat, pull up Trey White's. Do me a favor. Chat
Combine 40. He ran
Combine 40.
He ran a 4.4 something.
All right, I thought it was a 4.5, but go ahead.
It might have been 4.45.
Possibly. There's a 5 involved.
Yeah. Well balanced with ability to crowd and stuff the release. Love that he has that press man, patient feet, able to swivel his hips and pursue with fluidity. That is key inside a corner. Like if you go back and watch.
I was right. You wrong. Okay,
now you're gonna make me look it up. Go ahead. Keep going.
Keep cheering. Oh yeah.
No.
I got it right. I got it right.
Keep going with the strengths.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you meant keep you dancing and celebrating. I was right. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
4.47.
I don't know. Chewy says 4.5. I'm going on Chewy's honest opinion. Whatever. Either way, what did this guy run? What did Kaiir?
4.39. Thank you, Rick.
Whatever.
4.47.
I trust Chewy.
Chewy comes back and says actually 4.47, Tommy. That's
damn it, Rick. Come on, Chewy. Lie.
So
lie for me. I can't even dance now.
So you know, if you go back and look at Levi Wallace, one of the biggest knocks on Levi was his inability to be fluid, you know, when he had to turn and run. Right. So if we go back to that Patriots game where he got beat deep for that, Micah Hyde picked it off. He was always a step behind because his hips were stiff. He was he's a fantastic zone defender and comes up and tackles. That's why he played so well. But if you put him in man coverage, Levi struggles. To where this guy excels. So it'll be pretty awesome. And you can put the bigger guys. So when we play someone like, say, the Chargers, right? They have Keenan Allen and then they have Mike Williams. You can give Mike Williams the Kaiir, and you can give Keenan Allen to White.
Correct.
You know, we now have somebody big that can cover that, which is awesome. Rarely bites on the cheese against the double move, so he doesn't bite on the double moves, which is wonderful. Allows receivers to close the cushion and a cover 3 and quarters coverage. That's awesome. Contested catches are typically tilted in his favor. Solid transition. Quickness to plant and drive, and he saw some improvement in tackling in 2021. He'll need to continue to improve it.
Okay, and one more thing we'll add to that's not on there. I would say so far, look, character seems like a hell of a guy. Who, I mean, from everything I heard, how the interview went. The interview where they interviewed him at the pro day, I believe it was. Man, this guy had notes. He's like, listen, this guy is coming to play for whatever NFL team he was ready to play. He was ready to prove his worth. And then he was already ready to get the playbook when he got drafted. So I love the work ethic already by this guy. And that's not even on there. So go ahead with
True, you're right. You're right. Greg Costell actually said Elam's a better prospect than Booth. You also have to remember Elam comes from that bloodline, that NFL bloodline. You know, his uncle Matt Elam was a first-round safety. His dad was an undrafted free agent who played in the NFL for 8 years. Mm-hmm. So, you know, he has that. And I'll tell you, we've seen a lot of those bloodlines starting to come in. It makes me feel old now because I used to watch, you know, Asante Samuel, and I got Asante Samuel Jr.
Right.
You know,
how about the guy that used to play for us? His dad, the Antoine Winfield. You got Antoine Winfield Jr.
Jr. is the safety.
Crazy,
so we're starting to see those bloodlines in the NFL. Bro. You know, which is wonderful. And Scott Blakely comes in and says, "I just rewind the 13 seconds with speed and press coverage. That's all I need."
Yeah, you know, and maybe going back to that 13 seconds, even though I hate talking about it. And I still say the coaches were to blame because of the play calling. However, maybe they couldn't do a press at the line or jam at the line because of the speed of Levi getting burnt. And you saw what happened when Tyreek Hill got the ball right before that. The when they scored the touchdown. Yeah. So I mean, maybe they were nervous about that, and that's why they were paying this cushion with Levi, but still hated it.
Well, you have to remember, we were playing Levi and Jackson. Neither one of those guys are like press coverage super fast guys.
I know.
You know, one was a 7th rounder, one was an undrafted free agent.
Yep.
You know, and now we got 2 first-round draft picks on the corners. That's a big difference. So going into some of his weaknesses, loses leverage, allows a little too much clearance early in routes. But he always seems to make up for that clearance. And do you want me to make it a little bit bigger, buddy? Is that better?
Yeah. So, okay. I like your. Go ahead.
Okay. He always seems to be able to make it up with his speed. So that technique, he'll learn the technique better with the Bills. Needs to better open up and sprint timing. That's something that he'll learn. Vertical specialists can overtake and stack him. Okay, they may have been able to do that in college. I want to see them do that with Poyer and Hyde behind him.
That's right.
You know,
that's right. 100%.
You know,
scheme
it's
is everything.
Difference. It's
scheme. Yeah, exactly. Scheme is everything. Well, and who you got? Who you got behind you? You know what I mean?
Scheme, he has 2 all-pro
personnel. Exactly. It's a different. He's going. Brad, listen, anyone who's drafted on this team, Mikey, is walking into, like, just heaven because they got everything they need. Right. They got the personnel, the players. They got the coaching staff. They got the advanced weight room and training facility. Like, man, like to me, Mikey, honestly, and I'm not just saying that because I love my Buffalo Bills, but honestly, if I were to get drafted by the Buffalo Bills, like I would be like that would be the one team I want to go to. And years ago, that was never the case. Yeah. Right. People, oh my God, Buffalo Bills. I hate, you know, because all they could think of is the negative. Now, man, bro, this is nothing but positive. Like, you're right. And you got nothing but future Hall of Famers on the team. You got nothing but all pros on the team. You got the best quarterback in the league. You got the best GM in the league, right? It's wild.
You got
man.
One of the top head coaches in the league. You got one of the best defensive coordinators in the league.
100%. One of the best upcoming coordinators, offensive coordinators.
You got one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. You got some of the best defensive assistants in the league. I mean, we can go down the list. It's the reason why.
We'll be here all day. We got one of the best shout songs, if not the best shout song.
Yeah. You know, we got the best fan base in the league.
Right. Bill's right. How could I forget that? Because I should have started with that. The best fan base in the league. So
yeah, it's one of those things. And I was reading in here. Go ahead.
I know I'm but I do have to ask this. Now that we just said all this awesome, unbelievable stuff about the Buffalo Bills, are we now America's team? Like, are we getting there, Mikey? Like, are people falling in love with the Buffalo Bills? Like, outside who aren't Buffalo Bills fans?
Yeah. It seems like it more and more. James Jones said we won the draft. Like, we didn't win the draft, but he said you take what they did this offseason, they needed certain spots. They filled it with their elite corner and in a playmaking running back and another playmaking receiver and a big leg punter. Pat McAfee said it. You know, there is on the Pat McAfee show, did you see Brandon Beane's interview today?
Of course. Great interview.
Yeah, all those guys. You know, you got a Patriots fan, you got, Steelers fans, you got Packers fans. They're all just in love with what the Bills can do this year.
They are.
You know,
Jack coming in, by the way. Jack, I love you, man, but you gotta put your head up, man. I get your frustration. Me and Mikey do. We've been fans for a long, long time, right? Through the drought, through the Super Bowl losses. But I understand. I do. I get your frustration. But remember, I always say this, this is going in season number 6 with McDermott. And we were a disaster for 17 seasons. And really, we were bad even before that. We were barely squeezing the playoffs, right? In like 2000. Like, that wasn't a great team. Those weren't Super Bowl winning teams that got in the playoffs. That, we barely did. It takes time. It takes time to rebuild a team. Yep. And you got to be a little bit patient, and the results are showing. So
listen,
just be patient. It's going to come. I promise you.
Yeah.
But you can't put your head down and just
can't say it's this year or nothing.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is, Jack. But you can't.
I think we're going to win this year, but it's not this year or nothing. It's not like we went all in on 1 year. Like, this is a sustained success building.
Yeah, and this is going to keep going. Like this, like that's the one thing you should look at too in the long run too, Jack. Like, even if we win here, like just like Mikey was saying, this isn't just a one and done team that's being built. This is we're trying to build like a dynasty, hopefully, for future Bills Mafia fans, for like my kid who's going to grow up one day, and become a Bills fan, just diehard fan when I'm not around, right? So
Tommy, I need to reel you back in, but let's get back to his weaknesses. Reel him back in.
Hey, we got plenty of time, brother.
Yeah, we do. But you can go down a rabbit hole better than anybody I know.
I like those rabbit holes.
Yes, you do. Inconsistent to digest route combinations, something he'll learn in that DB room with all those veterans. Too much panic and he grabs. Yeah, he had a lot of grabby tape. He'll get better at that as he's playing with better talent. Like Florida, he was the top guy in that secondary. He lost a lot of guys over the last couple of years, and they haven't replaced them. Doesn't play to his size and run support, and inconsistent balance as an open field tackler. So little things he has to come back and do. But his main attractiveness is, one, he's level-headed. He fits the culture, and he has that press that press corner. Like, he's everything that Bills Mafia has been begging for since Levi Wallace became the starter at CB2.
Yeah. You see, people like these rabbit holes that go down, buddy. So trust me on these rabbit holes sometimes. Trust me.
So do you have anything else on Kyer that you want to hit?
Yeah, just like personal thoughts. Like, I already touched base with the character. Like, this guy's gonna fit right in to this locker room. The coaching staff already seems to love him. What I do like about him, which we touched base with a little bit earlier, he's now going to be our fastest corner on the team. He's also physical at the line, which is really, really good. And he has good, like I said, the speed. The speed alone I love, because even if he loses coverage, he can have time to get back, catch up to the man. Levi struggled with that. That's where Levi killed me. But other than that, no, man. I will say this. I was disappointed when we initially took him, because I was just so sold on Booth. And this goes to show, what, the next day does, if you're really looking into a player, like a profile, and really examining, because I didn't really look at this guy. I'll be honest with you. I saw he was there, but I didn't study him because I have my eyes set on a certain guys. And sometimes we fall in love with guys, and sometimes we ignore the other guys around them that could potentially be a better fit. And I think that's what I did. And just listen, I think a lot of fans are guilty of that. It's just not me. So it took a day for me to really look at this player and see why Brandon Beane drafted him. And I honestly couldn't be happier. So I'm very happy about this draft pick.
I think we talked about it on one of our shows previously, and I didn't look at Elam that closely because he struggles tackling, right? And what's the one thing you have to do in a Sean McDermott defense? You have to be able to tackle. So I looked at some of the other guys. I looked at like Kyler Gordon. I looked at McDuffie. I looked at Booth Jr. I looked at all those type of guys closer because they all have that tackling ability. You know, they showed it on tape where Elam struggled a little bit, and that's why I didn't think he would be more of the pick. Tells you what I know. You know, they went for that traitsy guy. They're like, we can teach him how to tackle.
So your grade on this pick, just this pick?
Absolutely an A. Absolutely an A.
Okay. All right. I also give him an A as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go to
I told you,
go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And I told you night one, if we took a corner with our first pick, the rest of the draft was all gravy for me. Our biggest hole for 2022 was cornerback 2.
100%. And I'm glad you mentioned that because when you watch the Pat McAfee show today,
mm-hmm.
you know, I know we debate me and you back and forth on this, and I know you know what I'm about to say. The whole need versus who's on the board, right?
Yep.
He kind of mentioned that the corner was a need in a way, like if you watch it. So I did feel like this was the one draft the need was corner. But once he did that, he kind of basically said everything else after that was just best on board. Right. We're just going to add like cherry on the top, kind of. Let's just get the guy that we, you know, who we love that's still available.
If we didn't go need, like truly, if we didn't go need, and we went best available, Johnson, the pass rusher, was probably the best available left.
Yeah.
Or,
I agree.
You know, or Wyatt.
I agree.
Or you know, or Wyatt might have been, you know, but they both had things that popped up in the off, you know, that gave red flags, which pushed them down, which gave them second round values and not first round values.
And that's why they drafted up as well, Mikey. Like they wanted the corner. He was what was left on the board because I know they had McDuffie on the board too, and I do question. I wonder if they were trying to get McDuffie, but people were asking too much to move up to a certain spot, and they were probably like, "No, we're good. We like this guy too."
See, I think this guy's actually fits us better than McDuffie does. McDuffie has size issues. He's sticky
I agree. I agree about the size. I love the size. So, moving forward. Second round
pick. James Cook. Played at Georgia. He's from Miami, Florida. He is a senior. 5'11", 199, 30 and 3/4 inch arms, 9 and 3/8 inch hands. 5'11", 199. He's not a small guy.
No,
by any means.
He's a little thin, like below. He's not big below. That's why he has. I know you mentioned. I mentioned this the other day on Jason's show that his contact balance is okay. I'll take it back where I said bad. I think it's okay, but that's due to his lower half not being so big. Which by the way. He's going to a great facility that has trainers that will probably get him to that next level, gain a little bit weight, gain a little bit muscle, actually. And maybe that you could see him getting a little bigger by the time the season starts.
Did you listen to Joe Marino's podcast today?
No, I missed it.
He talks about it, and he talks about the contact balance.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. I did. You're right. I did.
Okay,
I watched it last night.
Yep. Yeah, so he talks about the contact balance. And he talks about the difference between Breece Hall, who had the
worse,
3.25 in the Big Ten, and you talk about James Cook, who had the 3.95 in the SEC. It's two different type of
way things. Different. Yeah,
he's like James Cook actually has good contact balance. He doesn't have that in the phone booth make you miss that Singletary has.
In between tackles, basically.
But if you go back and watch some of his tape, he's fine between the tackles. He just doesn't have that ability in a phone booth to juke you out of your socks. He'll move around, he'll get hit, and he'll stay up on his feet, and he'll move on. He just doesn't have that in the phone booth shiftiness that we've come to know from Singletary, or even his brother. His brother has that slight suddenness in his lower half, and I think it's because his lower half isn't big yet. He'll get bigger.
He will. He'll gain muscle. He will.
So he ran a 4.4 at the combine, 4.42, 33-inch vert, 124-inch broad jump. He didn't do anything else. So when you come into his strengths, he's an instinctive processor. Smooth reads and cuts through the lanes and up to the second level, runs with rapid feet, can make dramatic path alteration with hard cuts, which I love. The fact that he's a one cut and go guy. Love it. Long speed to take it to the house. Tommy, long speed to take it to the house.
Yeah, something that
he's got the home run.
Unfortunately, I know. Unfortunately, Singletary does not have.
Yep. So, used out of the backfield as the pass catching mismatch, the dude can line up as a slot receiver if you want him to. Like me and you were texting back and forth this morning, and we were talking about Cook, and we were talking about like all the traits. I'm like, I think year one he's gonna come in as a third down back. He's gonna be our pass catching back. I think as he develops, you might see him deployed more like Kamara is deployed. You're not going to, and McCaffrey's deployed. You're not going to see him get 80% of the offense through them.
Correct.
But he's going to be deployed in those type of things. You're going to run a dual back set. Imagine this. Imagine a 12 personnel, right? So 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. You have Howard and Knox as your tight ends. And then you run a split back. And you have Singletary and Cook in the backfield. And then they all then they motion out. So now 12 tight ends, you're going to bring 3 linebackers in. And then all of a sudden, now they go to a spread where Singletary's the lone back. You got 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. You know, it's like
there's way so more. There's even you got RPOs now that are going to be really interesting. You got screens that are going to be really interesting. Listen, they could put 2 in the backfield, have Cook just go out and be the 5th receiver, like Singletary was trying to do. It just, unfortunately, I think Singletary is just way too short, and it's just not his forte passing the game, though he's gotten better. This guy is, to me, he's one of the best, if not the best back coming out, pass catching back.
Oh, absolutely.
Coming out of the draft. So
he's like a lot of the scouts, and I listen to a lot of different people talk. So listen like PFF, and I listen to Bleacher Report, and I listen to ESPN and the NFL Network, and all these different ones that talked about it, and they all say the same thing. You could line this guy up, and he could be a slot receiver if he wanted to be, and be a really good one.
Right. Right. And
so
how I
see you put him in the backfield on mismatches is amazing.
Yeah. How I see him, like how I see the Buffalo Bills grooming Cook for the future. I do see him. I see Singletary getting majority of the snaps as far as running the ball this year. Because Cook was very limited in college. He had less. I think he had no more than 12. However,
a game.
A game. However, obviously, if you 12 the whole season, I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
I was want to make sure that I got the most he ever had was 12 in one game.
Right. So he's not a cowbell running back. However, if he gains muscle, which I believe he will, I believe in year 2 he will be that running back. Maybe not a cowbell, but I think he will.
Bell cow.
I think he'll get a little bit more touches.
Yeah. No, I can see that. He's always gonna be the type that's gonna need that big banger with him.
Yeah, by the way, you could draft a running back next year to be that short yardage guy, that 3rd and 1 guy, because he's not that guy. He's not going to be the short yardage guy on 3rd and 1 when we need a yard, right? But there's plenty of guys like that in the draft later on, 5th round, fourth, 5th round.
There's so many of them in this year's draft.
And that's to say if Singletary doesn't leave. We don't know that. We have no idea. We don't know what.
Who knows? Maybe he has a great year and he wants to stay like all the other guys did, and he takes the discount to stay.
And and him and Cook,
he's running with one of his best friends.
Right.
Him and Cook are training partners.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Singletary has been nothing but a team player. And the coaches seem to love him still. I don't think he's fall out of favor or anybody. He wasn't upset about this. That he understands.
Oh, no, he was excited about Cook coming in because they're training partners.
Right. So this is perfect. So
let me ask you this question because it's in the chat. With this addition, does this mean Zach Moss is gonna be gone this year?
I'm gonna say he's definitely on the bubble. If not, the problem is being sneaky about the whole we're gonna cut you, but I'll try to trade you real quick.
Yep.
During training camp, so it's a possibility. And I know we drafted him in a 3rd, but just like the Wyatt Teller, which sucked, we got a 5th and a 6th or whatever for him. It could come down to that, where we get unfortunately a 5th or 6th for him. If that happens, if not, he'll probably go to the practice squad and maybe somebody scoops him up from there. But and that goes for Duke Johnson too, because I don't see us dressing 3 running backs, including our fullback, who's kind of a running back if you really. And then you got Taiwan Jones is considered a running back, even though he's special teams. So I don't think we'll suit all these guys up.
Yeah. So someone that you could think about is Taiwan Jones. Taiwan Jones was brought back as a special teams gunner.
That's it.
Christian Benford, our sixth round corner pick.
Yep.
He is a gunner. That's what he did the best in college.
Okay. So that's an interesting. That is interesting.
So it's something. So when we start talking about like who are these guys that we're bringing in, is Benford actually has special teams ability. You might see him as a 4-phase special teamer in his rookie year, and him take Jones's job. So if we lose Jones, okay, we don't have to draft another running back. So maybe we let Jones go. You know what I mean? And we keep the 4, and then Moss will be a game day inactive or whatever the case may be. So it's just another option. I know we're not going to talk about Benford on this podcast, but that's one of the options that he brings is that gunner experience because he's fast and he hits.
By the way, I kept saying cowbell. I'm at bell cow.
Yeah, I know. I know. You're good.
But you didn't correct me. He's like, I'm just going to.
I know I did. You just didn't hear me.
I'm gonna let him keep going and saying.
No, I did. You just didn't hear me.
Cowbell.
So let's quickly move into his weaknesses. Slender lower half. We talked about this already.
Blame it on the beer.
Passive run finisher with disappointing contact balance. We talked about that. Collapse by moderate contact inside as a runner. Talked about that. Doesn't offer value near the red end zone. I don't agree with that. But okay. Will struggle against NFL blitzing linebackers and protection. This is a big one.
Yeah, that is.
He very much is going to need to learn pass protection. But
correct.
We have Eric Cromer, who's going to be able to teach him. So I think we're good.
Yeah, and I mean, listen.
That's a very short weaknesses, by the way. That's a very short weaknesses list.
You can work with him on that. If worst case scenario, you put you could also have Singletary in the back there. Singletary's been more than capable of pass blocking. So you could still figure that part. I'm not. That's not too concerning, but he will have to work on that.
Yep. So, your overall grade for Moss, I gave it an A.
For Moss, you mean Cook?
Yeah, that's what I meant for Cook.
All right. Yeah. See, even you make mistakes, Mikey.
I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna say A minus.
Okay. I was higher on Cook than you were coming into this.
Yep.
You wanted Pierre Strong badly.
Oh, I did. He got drafted too, I think, by New England, right? Okay. Yeah, I think he's gonna be a good back in this league, man. We'll see. Yeah. And New England, they're gonna use him. They will.
We had some content creators melt down when the Jets took Breece Hall. They had a meltdown. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
There's some content creators that melted down when that happened.
Really? They didn't like it?
God, no. They freaked out.
Oh boy.
No, they loved the pick. They were mad that the Jets got him.
You mean our guy? You mean on our channel? Okay. Well,
no, not on our channel, but Bill's Mafia content creators. Some of them melted.
Oh, mad that we didn't get Breece. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we let the Jets get him.
There was also.
I'm not a Breece Hall fan though. I don't think he's gonna be that good.
Just to touch on that, some content creators were mad we took Josh Allen.
Yeah, touche.
Right.
And Chewy, I don't get picked in the 4th. I'm a first-round pick, buddy.
Oh my
day. And no one's picking Tommy over Mike.
Of course, I'm going to third, baby.
No one's picking Tommy over Mike.
I'm a third round all day.
So Hendog comes in and says he gives an A for Cook. Yep, I agree. So let's go ahead and move on. We're going to move to our first head scratcher of the draft.
Yikes.
Terrell Bernard. He's Baylor from Lordport, Texas. He's a redshirt senior. So he's an older draft prospect.
Yeah, that's
6'1", 224, 30 and 1/4 inch arms, 9 and 5/8 inch hands. He's a 5.94. So he's average backup or special teamer overall. Doesn't have a 40-yard dash, 22 on the bench, 35.5 on the vert, 123 on the broad jump.
Joe said it was all average to below average, by the way, on all these.
Yep. Nobody really understood the pick here. Listen, I wasn't a fan of the Milano pick either. He was a tweener, but he took him in the 5th and not in the 3rd. You want to know what? You want to know what saved this is we got
100%.
Shakir in the 5th. If you would,
which we'll go over,
if we would have swapped these 2 picks, no one would have said anything.
No, absolutely, Mikey, I 100% agree.
If we would have taken Shakir in the 3rd and taken Bernard in the 5th, everyone would be like, "Oh, cool, great draft."
Hendog coming in. To be fair, we didn't have it 4th, and they probably thought he'd be done by round 5. Remember, Bean has a different board than everyone else.
Yeah,
I agree with that too, but there was better linebackers available.
Terrell is a cowbell,
but he was a cowbell.
Yeah,
cowbell.
Yes. Yep.
Whatever.
Chewy, this is a McDermott pick. It was my only. Okay, I shouldn't say my only. My major issue with this pick is the very next pick was Parham. And I wanted him so bad.
Yeah.
So that's me falling in love with players and thinking we needed more depth on the interior that obviously they don't think. So strengths for Bernard. The scouts rave about his leadership and character. He's an all leadership and character guy. Right. Never quit attitude despite adversity. Film junkie who rang up 100+ tackles in 2019 and 2021. Rapid read and response against play action. He's always going to get the ball, loose and fluid in pursuit, bends and flattens off the corner as a blitzer. He's one of the best blitzers in this year's class of his linebackers. He's one of the best steals. And then speed to cover the man targets underneath. So he's very much a coverage backer.
Yeah.
His weaknesses: slender frame, might be maxed out. Gets caught up too easily in the clutter. So as long as we have big D lines that keep him clean, he'll be fine. Engulfed by size if he's not protective. Struggles to fit and hold a gap. Knocked off of balance by redirected blocks. Loses pursuit leverage, allowing backs to cross his face. Angles the runners have a little margin for error as a tackler. Average cover recognition, and has had foot, shoulder, and knee injuries at Baylor.
I swear there's going to be a page 2 to this on the weakness.
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
Chewy comes in and says, great, a 3rd round pick for a cheerleader. Listen, guys, he has special teams ability as year 1, and they feel that they can maximize him into a Matt Milano replacement.
That's a tough
Listen, do you trust Bean?
Oh, I trust Bean, but that doesn't mean he hits on every pick.
No, he doesn't. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But he hits on 3rd rounders more often than misses.
And I get it. But to your point, it's right now, right? Like we're talking now. We're not talking like during training camp or preseason. Like as of right now, as we speak, it's definitely a bad pick.
A head scratcher. I wouldn't say a bad pick. A head scratcher.
It's a bad pick for this spot for the 3rd round. I think they could have gotten.
You don't know. You don't know that. Well, you can say he's a head scratcher. He's a head scratcher.
Okay, fine.
Can't say he's a bad pick.
He's a head scratcher. Whatever. He's a pick. Well, I don't understand why he didn't want to get another pick that a linebacker that had higher value. That at least a great
higher value in your rankings or in the media
in most rankings. Nobody had Terrell Bernard as a third.
In the media rankings. Okay.
Nobody did. Did you?
No.
What did you have? Terrell Bernard. Okay, so
I didn't even have him on my ranking board.
Right. So my point to this
I saw him coming off the 4th and 5th round. Okay. Is where I saw him coming off.
Right. So really at the end of the day is look, you got a great point. None of us know as of right now, right? Anybody could turn it around. Sometimes it takes a player 2-3 seasons, right? To actually get better, turning things, whatever he has to do. But we'll see. We'll see. The verdict's out, and the verdict's out on all these players. None of these guys right now have done anything in the NFL. So
ultimately, I think I told you on draft night, I gave this a C+ average. I trust Bean on the pick. I felt there was better value there when he chose him.
I'm going to go C.
Going next.
I'll go C. I think
that's fine.
And I'm being nice. It's a C.
That's fine. All right. So we're going to move to our 5th round pick, Khalil Shakir, which I think should have been our 3rd round pick, but
3rd or 4th round, he would have went to.
Boise State College, hometowns, Marietta, California. He's a senior, 6 foot, 196, 29-inch arms, 9.5-inch hands. He's a good backup with potential to develop into a starter. This is key. because this year he's going to learn from Crowder. He's going to be
slot
our future slot.
Yep.
He runs a 4.43, so he's fast.
Has wheels.
Vertical 34.5, broad jump of 124, 3 cone 7.28, short shuttle 4.21. Ultimately, it comes down to his strengths and weaknesses. Another high character guy. You know,
boy, we love high character guys.
We do. We love that's a requirement inside of them. They want guys who love football. That's gonna,
I'll be shocked if you pull up a profile that says low character and we draft
as it has, he's super competitive. Listen to this. Tell me this doesn't sound like Sean McDermott. High character, super competitive. Receiver used on direct snaps as a running back on jet sweeps and in the return game. So he has versatility,
right?
High character, competitive, versatility. What does that tell you? But you're a Buffalo Bill, right?
Yep.
Motor rarely gives opponents a chance to catch their breath. Laser focused once the ball is snapped, so you never see him quit on a route. No down gear into the teeth of defense as a route runner, so he's a polished route runner. Low center of gravity for sudden route and cuts and breaks. Did you see that out route on the highlights that Beasley used to run in the corner for the touchdown?
Mm-hmm.
He looked like a small Cole Beasley.
Yeah, dude, this guy can. By the way, he can make phenomenal catches, bro.
Yeah,
like
Chewy says
one-handed.
Yeah, Chewy comes in and says we need some junkyard dogs too. Yeah, I would agree, but we brought back Shaq and Phillips, who were both very much those type of edgy players.
Are you talking about offense? You mean like a physical receiver? Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about all together on this?
Because I think Roger Saffold and Bates and Brown are kind of the edgy guys on our line.
Oh, Bates for sure is edgy. Bates is edgy. Saffold.
So is Brown.
Edgy.
Brown was,
and Deion Dawkins can even get a little edgy at times.
Deion's not really edgy.
Depends. If you hit Josh, he gets up in your grill.
Okay. Moving on, creates throwing windows with leverage, footwork, and strengths. Concentrates to make a wild circus catches. Relishes contact and can play through it. I love that he loves contact. Absolute menace with the ball in his hands. Patient runner with vision and a foot hovering over the gas pedal.
That was a lot of pros, by the way.
Yes.
Scroll up real quick. Keep going. My God, that's a lot of strength. I mean, that is a ton. That's like the most I've seen us go
12.
through.
He had 12.
That's a decent amount. Weaknesses, not many.
7 weaknesses. Very short arms and lacks explosiveness as a leaper. Okay. If Josh puts the ball on him, he doesn't have to really leap and use short arms. We're fine there. Making a big step up in coverage competition. Okay. So he played at Boise State, so he didn't play elite trait corners. But how many elite trait corners play in the slot where he's going to be?
Yeah, no.
There's not many. Won't run away from nickel defenders. Might be quicker than fast. Better polish and speed variance needed to disguise intentions. All these things are won't run away from defenders. The dude has a 4.42 speed. He's gonna with great route running. He's gonna get a separation. Inconsistent working back to the throw, so he'll learn that. He'll learn the better polish. You have to remember he goes in the room with Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. He's gonna learn the polish and the speed variances and how to set receivers up. And he lacks desired physical traits from teams demand. So he doesn't have elite special teams, but he can play special teams. He's a punt returner.
None of those are things that he can improve on, by the way.
Right?
You know what I mean?
The only thing he can improve on is his height and his arm length.
Correct. Which still is not.
You can either catch a ball or you can't.
From what I've seen, though, like he makes a lot of circus catches, so I don't know if I think that even comes into play with this guy. So not too concerned on the arm length there with this guy.
Yep. So A+ was my pick for him. We got him in the 5th. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I gave this also an A+ because of where we got him. and he's just he's a hell of a player, man. He brings that over the top. He brings that slot, ability that we're gonna need after Crowder, does his 1 year and he's done, because it's probably what it's going to be.
Remember, Crowder gets hurt every year too. He has a lot of
injuries. Which yeah, but even if he doesn't, it's still, I think, and I don't want it to, because he's a hell of a player. He'll be one and done here. I mean, it's just about money at this point, and this guy will take his spot and do a hell of a job, I believe. So yeah, A+.
Yep. Scott Becky comes in and says great hands and incredible route runner, A+. Yep. Chewy comes in and says all coachable issues. He also asks, is it time for you to go take a deuce?
Not, yeah, no, I'm good, man.
It's
not 4.5 hours. So
yeah. Head Dog comes in and says, me with 35-inch arms, depends on the day if I catch the ball or not. So arms doesn't help you catch a ball. Head Dog gives it A-. So yeah. What did you give it? I'm sorry.
A+.
A+, okay.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna go over to our final guy we're really going to dig into. And that is the punt god, Matt Ariza.
The punt god. I know y'all been waiting for this. That's why everyone's still here in the chat. They're like, let's skip everyone else. Go to the punt god.
To the punt god. Matter of fact, 26 shirts has already made a punt god shirt.
Oh my God. Dude, you know what I was thinking the other day, Mikey, real quick before we go into this guy?
Yeah.
How much you want to make a bet that he's going to be one of our top selling jerseys? Now, he's not going to be top selling jersey, but he's going to be up there, bro.
He's one of the top selling punter jerseys.
Oh, no, but I'm saying on our team.
I'm saying he's going to be in the NFL. He's going to be one of the top selling punter jerseys.
Who the hell's buying it? Right.
Was too.
Dude, who the hell's right? That's what I'm saying. Who the hell's buying a punter jersey? You know what I mean? Like, this guy's already, it's so funny to use, like, they asked him about the name. He's like, I don't really care for it, but hey, if the media, blah, blah, blah. And bro, right after that, Buffalo Bills post a quick little video on their Facebook that says Punt God.
Yeah.
So, hey, buddy, sorry, but dude, you are the Punt God.
It's a moniker. It's a money-making machine.
Dude, they love it.
It's a money-making machine.
Marketing team right over there in Buffalo. They're like, yeah. Go ahead, man.
Yep. So we're going to San Diego State. He's from San Diego. He's a redshirt junior, so he actually came out early. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, 38.5-inch arms, 9-inch hands. He's traits or talent to be above average backup.
And he's a right-hander, by the way, Mikey, which is awkward.
But he kicks lefty.
But he kicks lefty.
Yeah.
So weird, man.
He has a 40-yard dash at 4.68. He didn't do the bench. His vertical is 32. His broad jump is 121.
Which, who gives
By the way, did you see this kick? Just crazy. So let's go down into his.
Oh, look at him running down there! Oh my!
Yeah, I don't want us to get a strike for having stuff play.
Oh man, I'd be mad at you, Mike.
Elite field flipping talent with unmatched power. Had 18 punts of 60 yards in 2021. 18 of 60 yards.
Yeah,
including 2 at 80 yards or more.
Yeah, it's wild. Bro.
Incredible net of nearly 50 yards on open field punts. Led the NCAA minimum 10 attempts. Punting style creates strong forward bounce if not caught. So if they don't catch it, it's rolling.
Right.
He hit 62 of 73 kickoffs for touchbacks in 2021. Former soccer player and hurdler with plus athleticism, hustles down and cuts off return angles as a talented tackler. The dude,
which I don't want him doing anymore, but go ahead.
Bean talked about this. He's like, for guys on our team, they get a sticker if they're like maniacs when it comes to that. They call it the Rambo sticker.
Yeah,
he's like, sticker. This kid may be getting a Rambo sticker because he's just, who else was like that? Pat McAfee.
Yeah, he was. Oh, he definitely was.
He
has a couple videos.
And then he would do, the Bernie, the weekend of Bernie, and just, go limp, and he loved it. Like, he's such a character. So weaknesses. Has relative disregard for touchbacks and coverage considerations. But listen, if you're at your 20 and you kick it in, like at our own 20, and he kicks it into the end zone, I'll take the touchback. You flip the field. Thank you very much.
Right.
Speedy operation allows less time for gunners to get downfield. He does need to work on his hang time.
Correct.
Needs to be better. Needs better touch with the nose drop technique for coffin corners. He also has come out and said that he needs to work on that.
Yep.
Bean came out and talked about it today. He says he's just raw. You know, we talked about it with Allen, talked about it with Edmonds, we talked about it with with Oliver, all these guys. They take these raw trait kids and they develop them. This is one of them.
Yep, which he does every draft.
Yep. 31.3% of his pooch punts turned into touchbacks per PFF. Left-footed kicking makes field goals less likely, which is great to have a backup just in case something happens to Bass during pregame.
100%.
Ultimately, he's going to be a punter.
Yes, but things happen. And we saw that in the Carolina game, right?
Yep.
When their kicker went out, they were having a wide receiver kick off, do field goals because their punter didn't know how to. So God forbid if that ever happened, at least we know we have a guy that's capable of doing it.
Yeah. Hen Dog says Punt got 316 says I just boomed that ball.
That's
Chewy says, hey, 316, 3 plus 16 equals 19.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Yeah, get that thing going.
So that's a very short list of weaknesses. All of them correctable.
Yeah. He'll work with the special teams coach on that.
And Hack.
Yeah.
Hack will work with him on the holding.
I'm sure. Even though he's trying to take his job, but if I were Ariza here, honestly, and most of these players do. They reach out to certain players. Like if it's a receiver, I'm sure Shakir's reaching out to Diggs and to Crowder, see if they want to do training, off field, away from the stadium or whatever. I'm sure he'll get with Bass because every kicker likes the ball held differently.
Yeah.
Right. Some like it straight, some like it a little bit downwards, whatever. Listen, if he wants to win the job, which he will. Just get with him, get to training now. It's how hard to go out there and kick some field goals. And get it down right.
He was working night one.
Good. And then as far as hang time, I'm sure he can learn. And then just honestly, the only thing I didn't see from his tape was him angling punts very good.
Yeah,
so a lot of them were just straight down line punts. He needs to learn how to kick in the corners a little bit better, but all that is teachable, and I'm sure he'll get that. By the way, he lost his job the year before.
2020.
Yeah, so he obviously did something to bounce back and have a hell of a season in 2020. I think he was voted one of the best players on his team or something like that, which was crazy because he was a punter, they said.
He in 2019 he was the kicker and the punter. In 2020, he was not the punter; he was just a kicker.
Right.
And then in 2021, he was both the punter and the kicker. I guess he took the off season of 2020 and put more focus into punting,
which he should.
Yeah.
And it showed. It showed.
Yep.
So yeah. So what do you give it?
Absolutely an A. I love the punt god. I didn't think we were gonna be there. The fact that two punters went before him is amazing to me.
Yeah, I agree. I give it an A.
Yeah.
A as well. I am shocked that he was passed up by two other punters.
Well, not only that, but he's a left-footed kicker and has the big leg to cut through the wind. We talked about this when we talked about with Josh Allen. Remember, talked about how in that monsoon game he was able to throw the ball like 40 times and still have a chance to win it. Right?
Yeah.
Because he had the strong arm. This kid has that leg that can cut through that wind. So when it's blown back, I think in that monsoon game we punted once and it went like 7 yards because it got up in the air and Hack doesn't have a strong leg at all.
Absolutely. So Hack won't be here.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move over. The three other ones that we didn't talk about were Christian and Bedford, which I talked a little bit about. He's going. They talked about him a lot in the same manner that they see him being more like of a Micah Hyde type of.
You done with this, Mikey? By the way,
no, not yet. I gotta go through. It doesn't have to show on the screen. I can just talk to it.
Okay.
If you're feeling kind of off. But Bedford, they said kind of he'll start at corner, but they could see him move into safety, kind of like Micah Hyde did, where he started it, he'll start in the slot and then probably move back to safety. Luke Tunetta.
Luke Tenuta. Sounds like a wrestler. I swear it does. And he's as big as a wrestler.
I am puzzled by this pick. He's 6'8" with short arms. T-Rex. Right. I am puzzled by that.
I don't get it either, dude.
Especially when his college teammate, the interior guard, Smith, was still on the board.
Yeah, I think they did it because his whole family is like athletes. Like he comes from an athletic family, and I just think maybe there's hoping for what's that saying?
I don't think he'll
lightning in a bottle or whatever.
Developmental. Remember, last year we took high guys in like the 6th and 7th round that got put on practice squad. We put Anderson out on the practice squad. He got picked up.
Yeah, Jack Anderson. Yeah,
I don't think Luke Tenuta is getting picked up by anybody if we put him on the practice squad.
I don't either. But I will say this: he'll probably be a good body to use during camp.
Yep.
For our second and third string guys, like trying to get reps. You know what I mean? He's a big man. Yeah. He's still a big man. So
it's played left tackle at Virginia Tech. He's still talented enough to play left tackle at a big college. So
yeah. So it'll be good to have him in there.
Yep. And then linebacker Braylon Spector. He was underrated in the Clemson defense. The Clemson defense was very much not very good this year. The Clemson team as a whole wasn't all that great this year. They say he's going to be one of those guys that don't be surprised if he makes the team. He doesn't do anything spectacular. He's just one of those guys that just goes in there and is a hard worker, 4FA special teamer, will be a backup linebacker. Don't be surprised if he makes it.
Correct. I six, honestly, like Christian, Luke, and Balin. I mean, if even one of those guys are special
Chewy
teams guy, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, Chewy comes in and says Spector is a gym rat, a Rambo type of guy.
Well, hey, we're gonna find out during. When you're gonna find that out?
Cadence Jr.
Preseason, you're gonna find that out.
Yeah,
you're gonna find that out. These guys are all
in camp. And preseason.
Yeah, camp preseason. You'll see. Because listen, it's 3 games now in preseason. These guys are gonna be doing. Seeing a lot of action.
So moving down to the UDFA's, we signed Texas offensive lineman Derek Kersetter. Don't know much about him. Jackson State wide receiver Keith Corbin III, Syracuse D lineman Kinsley Jonathan, Appalachian State wide receiver Malik Williams, BYU wide receiver Neil Powell, UCLA offensive lineman Alec Anderson, who's already made himself a social media.
The tables thing.
The tables thing. He was rubbing his belly and said, when he's due. Just a character. Penn State defensive tackle Prince Emili, Virginia Tech running back Rashawn Blackshear, Tulsa cornerback Trayvon Fuller, and Texas A&M tight end Jalen Weidenmeyer, who actually was coming into 2021 a first round prospect. Everyone thought he was going to be the first tight end taken and had a chance, and he just had a horrible 2021. And then didn't test well at all. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get anything out of Weidenmeyer.
And by the way, the scheduled release date is next week, I believe, on the 12th. So that's going to be interesting.
Yes, yes. So that kind of covers the UDFAs and our draft prospects this year.
So overall grade, Mikey. Overall draft grade for our Buffalo Bills.
For 2022, it's absolutely an A. For long term, I would give it a B+. Because he filled the holes that we needed with the punt god, with Shakir, with Cook, and with Elam for 2022. But we didn't get those developed. Like I don't see Bernard and Bedford and Spector and Tenuta.
Right.
Top tier developmental prospects.
Correct.
Correct. I could be wrong, but
you never know.
For 2022 for this year's team, absolutely an A. If we're looking at 2023 and beyond, I'd say a B plus. Chewy comes in and says B plus. Hen Dog says a B. But man, we are stacked for this year. We didn't have spots for these guys to go.
Yeah. I'm gonna say A minus.
Okay.
And then moving forward, I'm gonna say a B.
Okay.
But you guys got to remember once again, sometimes it depends where you're drafting. It's not like we have had these top 10, draft picks or we're high up on the board. Like we're picking late a lot of these times because we're a good team. We're getting in the playoffs, and hopefully we pick 32nd next year, right? So, which once again will be a tough player to select because by then
we're
a lot of guys
those
are
elite prospects.
100%. So that's where Bean comes into play and goes, okay. I like this guy, even though they didn't, he didn't do too well in the combine. I still think he's this kind of guy, so
he looks at tape. He looks at tape and says, okay, is he a better football player than an athlete, or is he all athlete that we need to teach him to be a football player? And he either bets on tape or he bets on traits.
Right. And what's his ceiling? How old is he? You know what I mean? So there's a lot to.
Yeah, Bernard is all tape guy. He's not a traits guy. He's a tape guy. You turn on his tape and he tackles and he's, flying all over the field. His tape looks better than his draft profile.
Yeah. And he gets to the quarterback too. He's a pretty quick between the tackles.
Who am I most eager to watch out of this class? Who are you most eager to watch?
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
I'd say James Cook. I am so eager to see what this kid can bring to our offense. Can you imagine being able to throw the check down and, Josh throw a, lateral pass over to someone or a 2-yard pass and him actually break it and have a, to where he didn't have to throw the ball 90 yards to get it in the end zone? The run after the catch. I am so looking forward to Cook, no doubt. Tommy, who are you?
Man, this is tough, man. I am torn. I got to be honest with you. I'm torn between the three. I'm torn. I can't answer that. I can't. I honestly,
the
four really. Four? I was going to say 3. I'm interested in the punt guy. Like I'm so intrigued. This is a tough one. I can't answer it because it's a 4-way tie. Because honestly, Kaiir Elam, listen, he's going in. Trey is not out, right? I mean, Trey is out at least until October.
No, they're saying he may be back for week 1.
Maybe let's just play it safe and let's say October hypothetically. So let's say he's out till October. Now you got Dane Jackson and Elam, right? My God, Elam's getting thrown in there. Like, here you go. You're going against the top tier receivers in this league, right? It's really interesting. It's really intriguing to watch how he's going to do. How he's going to play on game day, right? And then you got Cook, electric, right? A guy that could take it to the house, like Mikey said earlier. Get him in open space. My God, he's gone. That's something that unfortunately Singletary lacks. And I love Singletary, but that's the game that he doesn't have, and the pass catching abilities, and then Ken Dorsey's mind to mix up
and it's
crazy designs.
Dorsey. It's all the minds.
I'm sorry, Ken Dorsey. Right, exactly. Cromer, Dorsey, Shula, correct. The new guy they brought in for the other guy they brought in.
Yeah.
So yes. My point is, it's just going to be really exciting to see. And then and then you got Shakir, right? And now you got this new slot guy who could be the over top guy, could be even a possible kick returner. So it's all intriguing to me. And then the punt guy. So I would say all 4 is tied for me. I can't pick one because they all got a role, I think. Those 4 guys have a role on this team day one, in my opinion. And that's why I'm giving it an A minus, because 4 guys out of 7. How many picks do we have?
8.
1, 2, 3, 8. Right. So 4 out of 8 can be probably, in my opinion, guys that are going to make an impact.
Day 1 contributors.
Right. Contributors. Right. And impact can make an impact on the field during this season, right? So that's awesome to say because not every draft goes that way.
And really,
so
Bernard could and Bedford also could if they make the special teams. So really we could 100%. Have up to six guys that could be 2022 contributors. I think those 4 are day 1 contributors personally.
So like for instance, last year, Mikey, if you could say the contributors of the 2021 draft, what would you say? How many?
Okay, so last year we had Rousseau and Basham.
Okay.
Basham contributed down the stretch.
Yeah. So that's 2. Okay.
So 2. Then we had Spencer. Brown and Doyle. Right. They both contributed.
Yeah, but Doyle was very limited. I'm
Doyle
not going to put
a touchdown.
Doyle there. I'm talking about the whole season.
He was our tight end that we ran. He played a lot, so he was a contributor.
Okay, I guess I wouldn't really put him there, but okay. So let's say 4. So
okay.
That's 4 already. Okay.
I'm trying to think who else we drafted last year.
Hamlin, the safety, Hamlin, who came in a few times.
So 5. So we had 5 because the other 3 were plucked.
I'm going to say 4. I'm going to keep Doyle off that list, but hey, it's fair enough to say
Doyle played more than Hamlin did.
No, I get it. I just didn't, But and the verdict.
He didn't play a tackle. He was our extra offensive lineman that we brought in and run situations.
right. I get it. Yardage. I know. Yeah, we'll see. The verdict still. He has time. He has time to get better.
Yeah. So I would say 5 out of the 8 last year. So if we can get 4 in every year, he seems to get 4, 5, 6 guys,
which is really good.
Contribute,
which is excellent. There's teams that can barely get 2,
especially with the roster as good as we have.
100, Mikey, you just hit the nail on the head, man. 100%. It's like getting drafted here too. That's a little tough for these guys because they're coming in with this is a stacked team, man. It's a stacked team on defense. It's a stacked team on offense. There's very few spots that we had to fill. Corner was one of them. But other than that, God, we're stacked at receiver, in my opinion. Tight end, maybe not so much. Maybe we could have grabbed a tight end there in this draft, but it wasn't, I don't think, like that of importance.
Nope.
They can always get one next year.
We grabbed Weidenmeyer as a developmental prospect.
Right, right.
So Chewy comes in and asks, who are you most upset that we didn't grab in the draft? What's your one player?
Question.
I can actually go if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dylan Parham with the 3rd round pick. We took Terrell Bedford in the 3rd, and the next pick was Dylan Parham. I think I said it when we mocked. I think the kid is going to be special. I could be wrong. The Raiders ended up grabbing him, so we'll get to watch him with Vegas and see how he turns out. But that's the one guy I'm like, oh, we missed him.
I'm sure there's somebody in the third there that I would have to look to see who we passed because I don't recall.
You don't think Pierre Strong or Rambo?
No, we're talking about 3rd. Like I'm talking.
No. We're just talking in general. The one guy.
Yeah, in general. But I'm just saying, like I would love to see who was
Booth
available.
Was your guy, right? Booth was your guy.
No. I'm gonna say Smoke Monday.
Oh yeah.
Well, listen, because why not him over Luke Tenuta? Like, come on, man. I'm just saying. Like, I think
why? Because can you imagine the blowback they get? He was an undrafted free agent that went to the Saints.
Yeah, I think it was the Saints. Yeah,
I think the Saints. Ultimately, I'll tell you, it was one of those things of if they would have drafted a safety.
Where did Rambo go?
I don't know.
Curious about that too. That was another player too. Mikey mentioned. Yeah. I would have loved to have him because he's listen. That guy's a hell of a route runner.
Hall. I'm not a fan of Hall. I've talked about it many times. I would much rather have Cook. I'd rather have Elam and Cook than Hall.
I would have had Strong. I would have rather have Strong. Yeah. I was saying that the whole time. Like,
Austin the 3rd would have been a good one too.
Yes, I forgot.
But we got Khalil. So ultimately, we got one of those guys that I wanted.
The 4th or 5th, I believe. Correct.
4th. He went in the 4th.
The 4th. That was our 4th round that we traded up to get. Yeah, which is fine, guys. Let's look who we got. We needed a corner, and we got.
But we got one of the better ones. Like what I didn't know is, Elam's 2019 tape is very similar to Stingley Jr.'s 2019 tape.
Oh, okay. I know.
This is Stingley Jr. had one of the best tapes ever.
Some people had Elam as in their top 5 corners. Like some people had him.
Some people had him the 3rd best corner.
Right. So he was a little mixed over on some people's boards, but I think it just depended who was evaluating him. And I think Bean saw him as one of the top guys. He
loved his size, his speed, his pedigree. Like I didn't realize the pedigree he had with his dad and his uncle both playing in the league too.
Yeah. Listen, I suggest
I didn't do enough on him.
Yeah, if you guys haven't already, honestly, go watch some film on these guys, like some of these guys we talked about, especially Elam. Because, I know a lot of people like myself was like all in the booth, and then I had to really study Elam, saw what he did. Honestly, go look at some of his film, his breakdown. He's impressive. He really is. And then also Shakir, I would say look at his film as well. Very
his
impressive.
Film is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, and Cook obviously is just electrifying when you see the guy, and he had a hell of a season last year. Obviously, they won everything.
So okay, Tommy, before we get out of here. Who are we opening up against? What's your prediction?
I'm going to say the Rams. I know most people aren't. I get it. But to me, if the NFL, it's all about money, and they always play the Super Bowl champions. And the storyline, I think, would be great because everybody, honestly, Mikey, all the national media really believes that the Bills should have been in the Super Bowl and probably would have won the Super Bowl, right? So there's one. You're going against the team that everyone's saying we could have beaten if we would have been there. So that right there is a good matchup. Then you got the Von Miller situation. That's even a freaking unbelievable thing, right? Him leaving LA, him going back there. I would say
the
that
Josh Allen factor.
Josh, right?
On prime time.
Mind you, too, the top 100 is going to come out before the season starts. He could possibly be, guys, the number one. I'm just being honest. Very possible. So you got the number one, possibly top 100.
So you say the Rams?
I'm going to say the Rams because it makes sense. It just makes sense.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs as a rematch of the Bills Chiefs. There was such a high turnout, and the viewership was so high. It was like one of the most watched games ever because of the back and forth.
Thank you, Scott.
Can you going back to Arrowhead in week 1 on Sunday night or Monday Night Football in a prime time? I could totally see that.
I wouldn't be mad, Mike. I wouldn't be mad either. Yeah, the worst team, the Lions.
I would love to start with the Jets or the Miami or someone in our division. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think they're gonna set us up week 1 in prime time because Josh coming off of what he did in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're gonna want to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I don't. That Chiefs
Patriots
game,
round
like
4.
Too. My God.
Ooh, Patriots in primetime week 1.
Nah. Psh, psh. Psh. I'm gonna give you the.
It'll be interesting to see. Ooh, you know who else you could see? You could see us versus Cincinnati. Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen.
Bro, Denver. We play.
We don't play Denver. We play Kansas City.
I think we play Denver this year.
Nope.
Look at the schedule. Like, okay, calm down. I thought we played Denver this year.
Nope.
Okay, all right, calm down, Mikey. I still want to look at the schedule because we have a hell of a schedule, guys.
We do. It's gonna be a brutal.
They really slammed us.
We play the North this year, so we get the Packers. We get in the NFC North and the AFC North. So we get the Steelers. Who's in the North? Steelers, Bengals, Cleveland, and I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing?
Is it the Ravens?
Ravens. Yep, and the Ravens.
Okay,
so we get, and then we get the NFC North as well. So the Packers, the Vikings.
So home, correct. Home against Green Bay. Home. I got it now. Home Green Bay, home Minnesota, home Pittsburgh, which not an easy game. They're never easy. Home Cleveland, not an easy game. Home Tennessee Titans,
Scott,
not an easy game. Home Jets, home Patriots, away Baltimore, the Bengals, the Bears, the Lions, Chiefs, Rams, Jets, Patriots, Dolphins.
It's a rough schedule, dude.
I mean, there is
that away schedule is
there's
brutal.
There's the two Jets games, but by the way, they had an excellent draft. So even though we should win, it's not going to be a total pushover, though we should win because the quarterback's still learning. Pittsburgh's never an easy out, and we learned that last year. Minnesota still has weapons. We should win, but they're not a pushover. Cleveland got better. Tennessee's never easy. We all know this.
They don't have much of a passing game.
The Patriots are still the Patriots as long as Bill Belichick is their coach. The Dolphins have improved. Baltimore, but they're
getting everyone back healthy, though. They're getting everyone back healthy.
The Bengals,
and they had a really good draft too.
I mean, dude, this is a brutal schedule, guys. Like, this is gonna listen. This schedule, how we end the season going into the playoffs, is gonna say a lot about this team because
you have the Cook brothers playing each other. We play the Vikings, so you have Cook versus Cook.
That's what I mean. Oh, you're right, Cook versus Cook. That's intriguing, man.
Yeah,
this is a crazy. I mean, the AFC just in general though is. I mean, man, Mikey, the AFC is good for a long time.
Scott's like, Apex, you heard it here first, 17-0.
I was on another channel and the guy used to say the same thing. I couldn't stand it. You know how hard it is. Last time I predicted a record, I was so
Wallace revenge game week 1 after last year.
Yeah,
and you see Pittsburgh week 1 again. If we don't go prime time, I can see us going Pittsburgh week 1.
You're right. If they don't set us up a primetime game, but Pittsburgh again, maybe not. I think
we played the Jets the first week for like 4 years in a row.
I could see the Jets possibly. I could see the Dolphins. That would be an intriguing first week because they've improved. You got Tyreek Hill. Imagine week 1, Mikey. Tyreek Hill going against Dane Jackson or the Rook Elam.
It'd be Elam. He's way faster.
I know, but I'm just saying, like week 1 already, you're throwing the rookie against one of the most explosive receivers in the NFL. My God.
Oh, Cook versus Cook turkey game. Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, dude. Bro, so the real quick before we go then, because we're pushing time here, Mikey.
Yeah.
Since we guessed on the first game of the season, how many primetime games do the Buffalo Bills have this year? How many did we have last year? 4, I think. I believe 4. We have 4, right? So how many this season? Now, I think the most ever is 6 that they gave a team.
I think we're hitting 6. I really do.
I'm gonna say 6 too, just because I think they're
gonna give us the Rams on prime time. I think we're gonna be Chiefs on prime time.
Yep.
I think the Bengals are gonna be prime time.
Yep. That's 3.
I think we have a chance to beat Baltimore prime time.
Probably.
How about
Packers? The Packers, right?
Prime time. And then they could throw us Minnesota, or we always play a primetime game against the Patriots.
You're right. The Titans, they put us like, that was a hell of a match last year.
Like, we could easily see 6 primetime games this year.
Easily, dude.
I think they'll schedule us for 5. I think Scott's right. I think they'll schedule us for 5, and we'll be flexed into 1 later in the year.
Right. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening as well. So I'm going to say 5 to 6.
8 can be the full max. 6 at first glance, 1 flex. Yeah, I think though I'm kind of with Scott and Bills fan 1970.
5.
I truly believe it's gonna be 5 with a flex later in the year into 6.
It's gonna be a fun season, man. Dude, I cannot wait.
When we do our schedule release show, we'll run through and give our first early predictions.
Yes,
and then we'll do another prediction show right before the season starts, and then we'll update it. So
100%.
It's gonna be fun.
All right. And anything else, chat, before we let you guys go?
Yeah, before we head out. I'm prepping now for a new liver in January. Scott says he actually hates primetime. He loves
Mike, you actually pull up when does rookie camp start?
Next week. Not this, not like this week, but next week.
Yeah. Getting those rooks in there. Yep. Getting those rooks in there, guys. Early. We're gonna hear some, and then when does regular camp start?
Then we have.
I know they take a little break.
We have rookie mini camp, and then we have mini camp, and we'll have mini camp in May. Mm-hmm. Towards the end of May, early June, and then they take the break until the end of July.
Correct. Yeah, end of July, right? And that's when it's mandatory.
And we don't know exactly. I'm guessing we'll probably be closer. They'll report at the end of July, like the last couple days of July, and they'll start actual practice in August.
Okay. And then one more thing too. You think Bean is done signing any free agents, like any vet corners that are still out there? Like Joe Hayden I know Von Miller was pushing for Hayden to come.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I can still absolutely see Hayden coming here. It's going to be all about the almighty dollar. If they're going to be willing to play for what Bean wants them, he'll bring them in. If they don't, I don't think he's done by any means, because there's going to be a lot of cuts now that there's been drafts. Agreed. A lot of people are going to start getting cut right around, right before camp and stuff.
Yep.
There's a lot of veterans that are going to be put out on the market.
Hawk
any update on Poyer? No.
I haven't heard nothing.
However, we did not draft a safety. My guess is we get a deal done before camp.
100% agree with Mikey. And we should have mentioned that. That's thank you for asking that question. Yeah, Scott, I appreciate it. I actually did. I think me and you talked about that. Yeah, like the fact that they didn't even address a safety in this draft, it kind of speaks volumes in my opinion.
Me too.
I really truly believe they're going to get that deal done. They got it done the first time when Poyer was kind of like a little bit upset about his contract. Bean took care of him then. I think he's going to take care of him now. And Poyer's still playing on a high level. So it's not like I think it's something Bean's concerned about with his age or whatever. So I think he gets it done. I think it's going to be something like a 4-year deal. Where you can get out after 3. Something like that. And make the player happy, because that's a key to that defense, especially in the back there with those two guys, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, these young corners. You need those kind of guys back there helping out. And I think Bean understands that. Yeah.
One last question that comes in from Chewy. Does Vaughn get suspended? Too early to tell.
I don't think so.
I haven't heard anything on it since the initial. It's been crickets.
I don't think so, because I'll tell you why. Could it be a suspension in the future? Possibly. But that's something that NFL takes time to investigate. They're going to have the law look into whatever's going to go on first. Then they're going to, look, for prime example is the quarterback, Watson. They haven't done anything. It's been a 2 year, like year and a half. So it's going to take a while. I don't expect any kind of suspension this year. And let's wait until the proof is out there, right? Let's wait until it goes to court, because this, just like the Shady thing, guys, right? Everybody was saying the same thing. I swear to God, I remember it. Like on Twitter, it was like crazy. Oh, Shady's going to get suspended. All he did. And it wound up being nothing. He didn't do it. It was swept under the rug. NFL didn't even get involved. And the same with Ed Oliver. So I wouldn't jump the gun on that. I know a couple content guys did jump the gun, and I think that's kind of unfair. Especially with something like this. This wasn't like he DUI crashed and killed somebody. It wasn't domestic where he got arrested where we're like, oh yeah, like, come on, guys. Like, this is something
revenge,
that was
right. Something like porn revenge or something like that.
Yeah, this is exactly. This is more like he said, she said, and maybe he did, but there has to be proof. It has to go through the law. And then, so no, I as of right now, this season, I think nothing happens in my opinion.
Okay. Scott asked one last question.
Sure.
He says, will Hyde want one after Poyer? Because Hyde's contract ends in 2023 after the 2023 season, not the 2022 season. Poyer ends this year. Hyde ends next year. I could see us locking up both of them over the next, I don't think we'd lock Hyde up this year. I think it'd be next offseason we'd lock him up for 2 years, because I think they want it staggered where we don't have to replace both our safeties at the same time. We want to replace one at a time.
I totally agree with Mikey as well on that one. There's still listen, Poyer was an all-pro. Micah Hyde was a second team All-Pro. They are the best duo safety combination in the NFL. Why break them up if you can afford to bring them both back? And I think Poyer will get done this season, and Hyde will get done after next season. Like Mikey said.
Chewy has one last question. This will be the last question we take before we sign off.
Yep.
Who's going to be our surprise player this year? Who's going to be that breakout guy?
Go ahead, Mikey.
I gotta think about this for a second. Who's gonna be our breakout guy this year?
All right, I got it. I'll stay.
Go ahead.
Quick. Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary will be the breakout player, and I know Mikey's laughing, but I say this because a lot of things. One, it's his contract year, so he's going to definitely want to be playing up to his best level. Two, We got Cromer in there, who is one of the best offensive line coach, and he's replacing one of the worst. Okay. 3, we got Saffold, who's one of the best offensive linemen in the game, still, even at his age. And then we got Ken Dorsey, who's not going to limit his carries like Dable did, where he wasn't getting any carries in the first half of football game. So I truly believe Singletary will have over 1,000 rushing yards this season. He's going to have a very good year, and I think his average is going to be around 5 yards per carry, like his rookie season when he averaged 5.1. That's in my opinion, and that will be the breakout player because Josh Allen will be Josh Allen. He'll always have. He'll always be that guy. So I'm going to go with the guy, that's not.
Chewy says Davis. Scott says Ford.
Sure.
Hendog says Tremaine.
Ford. Wow, I can't believe Scott said Ford. Okay.
He just had it with a laughy face.
You're fine.
I am going to go in direct competition with you, and I'm going to say James Cook.
Okay.
James Cook's going to come in, and I think he's going to have 1,000 yards, but I think it's going to be a combination of receiving, rushing. I think he'll have. I see something more like 650 receiving with like 350 rushing, and I think he closes in on 8 touchdowns.
I can see. Hey, I definitely can see that. I definitely can see that. All right. Well, guys,
we're gonna get 2,000 yards out of our backfield,
which is unbelievable. Yeah, which
is
unbelievable.
1,000 out of Singletary. We're gonna get 1,000 out of Cook.
It's going to be a great and fun season, guys. Once again, everybody in chat, Hendog, Scott Blakely, Chewy. If I miss anybody, Jack, I appreciate you.
Bills fan,
as always. Bills fan, yeah. So everybody that came in, and everybody that's going to watch later, I appreciate you guys. Bills Mafia is number 1, and go Bills, and we are out of here. Peace. And now I'm going to play the best outro song on any content channel. Here we go. Bills make me wanna shout.